Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and people, today I'm going to explain the color transform class to you. The program that I made in Flash and ActionScript 3 works in two fashions. The first thing it actually does is it accepts the red, green and blue channel values from the user, and then it applies the color change onto the object, okay, or the movie clip in question. Or you may simply paste the hexadecimal code inside a text input field, and you'll immediately see the color change reflect onto the movie clip. In fact, before I explain further, dive deep into the ActionScript, let me first show you a published preview by hitting Control Enter, HEX Control Enter on the keyboard to export the SWIFT and test the movie. Okay. Now people, have a look out here. We have a text field, input text field out here. There's another text field out here, okay, and these are three sliders. They are actually slider components. Let's see what happens when I slide this one right at the top to the right. Okay, now this slider component is for the red channel. People, I'm sure most of you are actually aware that all colors and shades are actually formed when you mix the red, green and the blue channels together. The possible values are between 0 and 255. These three sliders allow you to alter or modify the red, the green and the blue channel, and the acceptable values are between 0 and 255. So what this program in ActionScript 3 actually does is it takes the input from the user, it converts the red, green and blue channel numbers, the values which are between 0 and 255, and converts them into hex codes, and then applies the hex code onto the object. We'll look at the ActionScript a little later. Okay, so here as you can see, when I slide the red channel to a max of 255, although you can't see the value, but it's actually 255. The min I've kept as 0, the max that I've kept is 255. You can see that since the blue and the green channels are 0, okay, the color is actually red, right? Similarly, if I were to slide the green channel to a max, you can actually see the hex code is 00FF00, okay, and it throws the green color. Okay, similarly, if I were to slide the blue channel to the extreme right, which is a value of 255, you can see that it's a pure blue color. What if I mix the, the green and the blue channels? The hex code thrown as 00FFFF, and this is the resulting color. What if I mix all the three channels and set them to a max value of 250 excuse me, 255? You can actually see that the color turns to the color white. Okay, so when you set the R, G and B channels to 255 each, okay, the resulting color is actually white. And of course, people, you can mix these three channels in different proportions to get whichever shade you would want. At the same time, as you're actually sliding these slider components, sliders, you will see that the hexadecimal code is actually populated out here in this text field, right? Also people, you're allowed to paste or type your hexadecimal code out here. So let's say something like FFFFCC, okay, so this is the color, or let's say FFCCCC. So this is the shade of the color, the new color that's actually thrown onto the movie clip, the instance name of which is MC. Okay, so also people, have a look out here. Unless and until you actually put in the the 6 figures for the hexadecimal code, the color change is not evident, right? So you need to, in this field, put any 6 characters. Let me correct myself, not any 6 characters. The hex codes or the hexadecimal codes are limited to numbers 0 to 9 and characters A to F. So if you try to enter any other character, let's say T or G, which I'm doing right now, you'll not be able to do so, which means that this input text field has a restriction set on it. You'll not be able to enter more than 6 characters, and the characters have to be in the range A to F and 0 to 9. Right. Okay. Right. So, all right, people. Now that we have understood what this program actually does, let's understand how the stage was actually constructed. Okay. Now, up front, people, have a look out here. This text field is actually a text input component. You can have a look out here. It says the component is a text input component. Even this is a text input component. The only difference is the one at the top out here is not editable. Okay. The one at the bottom out here is actually editable. You can have a look in the component parameters, people. Okay. The one at the bottom out here is editable. It's enabled, accepts a maximum characters 6. Okay, and the restriction that is set is in such a manner that the characters A to F and the numbers 0 to 9 are the only acceptable characters. The initial text that is thrown inside this text field is 0 6 times. Right. So this is these are the different parameters for this input text field, which I've actually called my color field. The one at the top out here, which I've actually called RGB, does not have any max character restrictions, does not have any restrict set on it, but the initial value that we show inside it is 0 0 0 0 0 0 6 times. Right. In front of this text field, which is RGB, I have put up a hash sign. People, just typed it out in this font, right? The size being 16, the color being white, anti-alias for readability has been set. Okay, and have a look out here. It's classic and static. So if it's classic and static, I'm not able to change it through Actionscript, which I really don't want to change actually. Right. This text out here, which says paste hex code here, and then the pound sign, the hash sign, is again classic and static, which means I'll not be able to change it through Actionscript, and it does not have an instance name. The font family is just the same. Okay, the size is the same, the color is the same. People, whenever you're using fonts, make sure that you embed the fonts by hitting the embed button and selecting the options 1 2 3 4 uppercase, lowercase, numerals and punctuations, and type the font name out here and then say OK, which I've already done, so I won't be repeating myself out here. And once the font is embedded, you'll be able to see the font in the library like this. Right. Okay, so let's see how the stage was actually constructed. So once you place the static text fields and the input text components, okay, where do you get the components from? You go to components icon out here, and then you can pull out the text input component from here and push it onto the stage. Right. You need to place the static and the input text components and the static classic text fields onto a layer called text field components, or whatever you would like to name it as. Right. You also need to create a movie clip. I'm not going to show you how to create a movie clip. I'm assuming you know that much. I've called it MC. It's in the shape of a ball, and the color is black up front. Okay, I placed it on a layer called ball. Right. These are the different text fields that have been placed on the text field components layer. Right. Then people, what I did was I pushed 3 slider components from the components panel, which you can get it from here. So this is the slider component. You need to push out 3 components and push it onto the stage. And then what I did was I gave them instance names: s_red, slider_red, slider underscore green, and slider underscore blue. Okay, so these are the instance names of the sliders. Also, make sure people that the size of the sliders is set to a width of 255, a height of 3. Right, 255 corresponding to the max possible number. So if you have a look out here at the bottom, The direction is horizontal in the component parameters for all the three sliders. Okay, so the max value is 255. The tick interval has been set at 0. The current value has been set at tick interval is 10. The current value has been set to 0, right? So these different properties for the sliders are common for all the three sliders, whether it's s underscore blue, s underscore green, right, which is the slider in the middle, or s underscore red, which is the slider right at the top. The max is 255, the min is 0, tick interval 10, current value 0, right? And what I've done is I've pushed all these three sliders onto another layer, and I've called it the three slider components. Okay, the topmost layer as always belongs to the Actionscript 3, although it's not a rule of thumb, but it's the way we actually like to work, that we push the script as the topmost layer, right? So these are the four different layers, people, and they host different objects. The top layer is hosting the script, then we have the three sliders, then we have the different text fields and text field components, okay, and then we have the movie clip ball, okay, which has been given an instance name of MC. Also, people, what I've done is I've actually restricted the width of this input text component to a 50 each out here, otherwise it's a little longer, probably 100. I'm not so sure, right? No, that's not very important. Now this is how I actually set up the stage. So people, all that is left for me to do now is actually explain the Actionscript to you, okay, which means that I need to dive inside the actions panel and walk you through it. All right, give me a sec. Okay, this is the actions panel. It's not too long a script, people, barely 30 lines. Let me just expand this area a little bit. Righto, there you go. Right, so this is the Actionscript that is responsible for whatever you have seen so far. Okay, in line number 1, people have actually used an import directive, which is import fl.events.slider event. So just importing the requisite package, right? Now people, there's a reason why I don't write the script and just explain it verbatim. One of the reasons is I'm not able to concentrate or focus on what I speak when I'm actually typing. I find it much better if the script is in front of me. So what I do is I type my script before I actually start the tutorial, and then that makes it easy for me to explain them. Different people have different methods of doing this, but this is the way it works best for me. Although I understand that as you type the script and continuously, time and again, show the published preview, it actually helps the user. But then again, I'm a slow typist. It's not too short a script, and I'm more comfortable if I have the script in front of me. Okay, it may be a little difficult for me to memorize everything sometimes, right? Especially if it's a long script. So let me explain the script to you once again. Okay, now have a look out here. We have the three slider components, S red, S green, and S blue. Underscore green, underscore blue, that is. I've added an event listener to all the three sliders. The event is a slider event, specifically of the type thumb underscore drag, and all the three actually fire a function change color. So no matter which slider it is, every time you drag the thumb on the slider, I would want a function called change color to fire. We'll come back to that later. Let's first understand this bit, which is lines 25 to 30, which is a lot easier to understand. Now I'm talking about this text field, people, which has been given an instance name of my color field. Now every time you input some hex code inside this, whether you type it or whether you paste it, okay, the ball color changes. Now this is happening because of this script that I've actually highlighted. Okay, let's see how this actually works. I've added an event listener to the color field. The event is of the type change, and every time the content inside the field actually changes, we fire a function called change color 1. Okay, now people, let me tell this to you again. Okay, sorry. So every time the content inside the text input field actually changes, this function change color one actually fires. Let's understand how this actually works. And yes, I was saying that the code, the flower file, is actually available as a free download from my website http://qualitylessons.net/downloads. Right. So if you really don't want to type the script, you can in fact get the flower file. Let me also tell you that I'll be saving it in the version 5. I cannot go beyond it with my CS6 version. It does not give me an option to save it as CS4, and that is happening with a lot of people. A lot of people are guys are actually requesting me to save it as CS4, but you see there is no option to do so. Okay, the min that I can go down is CS5. Right now, once again, let's understand this function color changer one. So you pass in the events inside the brackets. You put a colon void out here because this function does not calculate and return a value. I'm declaring a variable my color one. The type is a color transform, and I make it equal to a new instance of the color transform class. So I'm getting a variable ready, which is then going to hold the color using the color property. So what I'm doing out here in line number 28 is I'm through the color property. Okay, I'm feeding inside this text input field a color, rather this variable a color, which made equal to 0x. Now whenever you use colors in Flash or Actionscript 3, people, you always prefix 0x before the hex code. The color may look something like let me show it to you, something like 0x and then let's say FF CC FF, something like this. So you always have the hex code, but you prefix it with 0x. So that's 0x out here, and then my color field dot text. So my color field is this field, people, whatever the text inside. Up front I've put the text as 0000000. Okay, so right. So since this is the format, I need to prefix it with 0x, and it's also mandatory that the data type should always be a UINT, a positive integer. Okay, the data type has to be a UINT, but the text inside the color field does not have the same data type. It's a string, so I need to convert that to UINT, and only then will the color generated inside the color text field, color field, will be accepted as a color, and that will be saved inside this variable my color one. Okay, and I'm checking if the color field dot length, so if the user actually inputs at least 6 characters, is actually equal to 6. It's a check. Whenever you use 2 equal to signs, it's actually a check, people. It checks if the color field has 6 characters in it. Only then, not 5 or 4 or 3. Okay, you have to input at least 6 characters to see the color change. I'm changing the color of the MC, which is actually the ball, using the transform property, color transform sub property. Okay, now out here, alpha is a property, width is a property, height is a property. They are properties, but when you change the color, you have to use a main property and a sub property. So transform is a property, color transform is a sub property, and make it equal to my color one. My color one is actually the variable that is holding the color using the color property, which I've set equal to the text inside the input text field, color field, and then I'm changing the data type to a UINT, which is a requirement. Okay, Flash will not accept a string inside my color one, which is actually data type to color transform. Right, so that is how whenever you change the color inside my color field and it sees the change, it's gonna fire this function change color one. Okay, so that's taking care of how the color changes when you paste the hex code out here. Let's see how these sliders actually work. So give me a sec. Yep, there. So the sliders have been named S red, S green, S blue, and the event is a slider event specifically of the type thumb drag. So whenever you drag the thumb on any of the 3 sliders, S red, S green, S blue, a function called change color actually fires. Let's understand this function change color. Now I'm declaring a variable R, and I've set it equal to the sred value. Now the sred value initially is actually 0, and the max that you can slide it up to is 255. So it's in that range, 0 to 255 people. It accepts this number, saves it inside the variable r, and then I declare yet another variable red, and then what I do is I subject r, which is a value between 0 and 255, to the toString method. Now Flash says, Actionscript 3's literature says that to convert a number to a hex code, you need to subject it to the toString method with a radix of 16. Now how the radix actually works is beyond the scope of this tutorial, but that's all that we need to understand right now. Is the number has to be converted, the toString method has to be used with the radix of 16, and the resulting number will actually be the hex code. I'm also checking if the variable r, which is actually now holding the hexadecimal code, it's a double digit number, just in case it is not. Okay, so using the length property, I can actually check if it's a single digit or a double digit number. I actually need a double digit number, so I prefix it with a 0, just in case it's a single digit number. So you can see the comment out here which actually says that if it's a single digit number, make it a double digit number by prefixing 0 before the resulting value of the red. Okay, the same is true for another variable g. G is actually the sgreen value. Sgreen is the the other slider which is responsible for the green channel. Again, has a value of 0 to 255. We we again convert it into a hex code using the toString method with a radix of 16. Okay. And then we check if it's a single digit number, we convert this to a double digit number. We do the same, follow the same procedure with the third slider. So it's holding a value between 0 to 255. Here we do the hex code conversion, and here we do the single digit to double digit conversion, just in case if it's a single digit. Okay. Now after line number 18, we have 3 variables ready, which are red, green, and blue. Okay, then what we do is we declare a variable my color, data type to color transform is equal to new color transform class. So basically we are creating a new instance of the color transform class, people. Then through the color property, I'm making it equal to 0x, as I told you earlier that the colors in Flash look something like this. Okay, so 0x is the prefix, and then I'm adding the red, the green, and the blue hex codes to it. Okay, so pretty much that is the format. If you see out here, the red channel, the green channel, the blue channel. Okay, and then once I have, you must data type it to a UINT, people, otherwise it'll, it's actually a string. The variable my color will not accept a string, it will accept only in the format UINT, right? So that's the reason why I put UINT before the round brackets. Okay, then through the transform property and the color transform sub property, again when you change the color, people, you have a main property and a sub property, and make it equal to my color. My color is actually the variable that's holding the color, which is 0x red plus green plus blue, right? And then in the text field outside RGB, I'm displaying the hex code through the text property. This is the RGB text input component, people. It's going to accept this value, right? So people, this is the script that is available as a free download. In fact, the whole file is available as a free download from my website, http://qualitylessons.net/downloads. So people, I hope you learned a lot from this tutorial, enjoyed it too, and I hope to see you coming back for more and more and more. You have a good day, guys. Bye bye. Peace.